we were at a baseball game recently, and there was like someone we used to know who was talking to my son, and she was like, do you know why your son is like really nice and good at talking to people? And I was like, or my husband was like, why? And she was like, because you talk to him a lot and you take him a lot of places and you like give him experiences so he feels like safe out in the world. If I make 10 men an offer and I say like, I am going to offer you $100,000 a year, I would say 8 of them will say, yeah, you know, based on my skills and what I bring to the table, like I'm going to need more if you want me to bring my talent to your organization. And then I go back and I would say 6 out of those 8, like I'm able to give them more money at previous companies. At my current company, it's pretty transparent. And even now, like when I make offers to women, they don't negotiate.
Well, welcome to our Best for Your Nest podcast, sponsored by Owl Roofing here. And today we're going to be chatting with Olivia Weidner. And she is a friend. She's a community leader. She's also going to be sharing how she works in talent acquisition, and she recruits and hires and interviews people. And she's also a super mom. So welcome, Olivia.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
My questions at the very beginning are fun questions.
Yeah, you really went into the archives for these.
I know, and I've had to reach out to some of your college friends to find that out. And one of them said she loves virgin pina colada.
That is true.
And I don't think I've ever heard anybody said that or say that about themselves. So I'm just wondering, is there a story behind? Is there some spring break or
when
something?
I saw that question, I knew you went like back deep into the friendship archives for that one. But my whole family doesn't drink alcohol. Nobody has any like alcoholism in the family. We just it was never a part of our life. But when we went on vacations growing up, we got virgin pina coladas and it became like our family tradition. And now like when I go with my friends, I'm like, we need to get a virgin pina colada because it's vacation. And everyone's like, why? Why does it have to be a virgin? But now like I think it's become a really cute tradition where people like send me like, oh, there's like a new pina colada flavor, like LaCroix and stuff. And it's like cute. Kind of like a memory people have in my family. So it's like nostalgic now.
I love that. Okay, what about the high kicks? I know that you are very flexible.
That was a wild question. I can still throw a high kick with the best of the 40-year-olds out there, for sure. And I'm not going to show you right now because
are we ready for?
I'll rip more than just my pants. Like things aren't prepared. But if like you see me at the park and you're like I'm with my kids and you're like I need to see the kick, like I will throw the kick like a rocket. And
so were you a cheerleader?
I was a dancer. My parents invested like years and years of time and energy into dance growing up, and competitive dance, and my daughter now like loves it and she's really into it, so it's kind of like full circle. Like no, it's not genetic. I think it's just like a love thing, but I feel like someone's gonna like someday like be asking her that question, which is funny.
It's a fun party trick.
It is, and it's exactly that, a party trick.
Okay, whenever you get Starbucks, you tell people to write Sabrina
Again,
on your
these
cup.
questions are mortifying and amazing. Yeah.
Why do you do that?
Okay, when I was in college, I thought it would be funny one time like that we like gave different names at Starbucks. So I put it in like my Starbucks rewards app that I was Sabrina. I cannot change it. So now I'm just Sabrina, and I don't want to like lose my star status. I'm not going to lose my status with Starbucks, established like 2010 or something. So I'm Sabrina, but I did like a big order for work, and I like brought everyone their cups, and they all said Sabrina, and they're like, "Who's Sabrina? Like you took the wrong order." And I was like, I have something to tell you. It's like it's corporate. It's like my usual vibe. But yeah, so I'm Sabrina, and people were like, "Are you gonna name your daughter Sabrina?" When I was pregnant with a girl,
so
and I was
pass her.
a real existing Sabrina.
I love that. That's awesome.
That's amazing.
What about the professional investigator? I know that if I am curious or need information, you always give it to me. And I'm sure there are many of us like me who come to you.
It's really funny because people do come to me for like random investigational things, but I'm actually not that curious. So I don't actually use that often, like for myself, it's like people ask me like, hey, can you like look up this situation or this person? I'll be like, sure. And I've got the deets. I think it's like an occupational hazard though, because as a recruiter, like let's say I wanted to like poach Noah from this roofing company, because I have a roofing company. I'm not going to like email him at Owl Roofing and like risk his boss seeing it or making him uncomfortable. So I like have gotten really good at like finding people. So
that's awesome. Oh, that's right, because you actually recruit.
Yeah, because I recruit and it's part of my job. So I think that's where that comes from, but it comes in handy like if you like need me to like find something out for you.
Okay, if somebody's going on a first date.
I was gonna say, use this in like dating, like friends dating.
Oh yeah,
like,
nobody is safe
if
like they're like have like a Tinder profile or something. Like I'm gonna know everything about you for
before they even meet.
Yeah.
Like, so
which I don't suggest people do. Like I think that like there's a lot of mystery that gets ruined out of dating. So if I were dating, I would choose not to do that and just go into it with like an open mind.
Yeah.
So, but if you need it, like I would do it for you, no judgment.
I love that.
You grew up in a big family.
Yeah.
How was it? What kind of skills do you think you obtained that you're using today at work in raising your two babies?
My family was and is the best growing up. I think their primary goal, my parents, they wanted like 10 kids and ended up with 4. But their biggest goal for us, like to this day, is that we would all be best friends. And it was like their only goal. And they didn't parent with like a ton of intention. They in a good way. Like they parented with really open minds. Like every situation, they weren't like, this is our belief on how we would handle this. It was very much like, we will just get to know our kids and like we just want them to be friends, and whatever comes at us and we deal with it. And we like really were best friends, and all of us are so different. Like I have one sister who lives in Edina, and I have one sister who like hunts on her land, like she like American Sniper, like in like a tree house. She's like super glamorous and adorable, and like just like hunts and like kind of married a more rugged guy. And then like I'm like, oh, I don't like guns, like what's that, like so we're all super different. And my brother and it's all different. But I think that like the unexpected skill that kind of came from being in a big family is just kind of being generous. And our parents taught us to be really generous with each other, and they raised us with this huge, not abundance in like the woo-woo manifest type of abundance, but they taught us like that there was enough room for all of us and enough room for resources, where like I never had the feeling where like I didn't want my sister to wear my shirt. Like they would laugh if they read this or hear this, because they'll be like, you did say I can't wear your shirt. But like if I were to ask my sister, if I was like, I love your shirt, she'd be like, oh, do you want this? And she would take it off, because she doesn't feel like there was no loss in sharing with each other. And I think it like kind of bred like a generosity and just that being like a natural part of all of our brains. And I noticed that more, where it's like a not overemphasis on fairness, just more like community.
When you say your parents didn't raise you with intention, I feel like that's wrong. Because you play violin and you did competitive dance. Just that alone.
That's really funny, because I think that was really driven by us, and our parents just followed our interests. Like I got stressed out when I had kids, because I was like, you kind of pick their path. Like if I put Brooks in hockey, like this is his future now and stuff. But I've found that that's not necessarily true, because like you can put your kid in something and then they don't enjoy it, and then they don't follow that path. And my parents kind of like waited to see what we liked. And like I wanted to play an instrument. My sister played the cello for like 2 days and was like, I'm embarrassed to carry this at school. Like she didn't want to play it anymore and stuff. So like they followed our interests and just let whatever it was, and they didn't put their expectations into it. Like my dad played sports and football and stuff, and my brother wasn't a sports guy, and he was just like, yep, that's just not how my son is. And so when I say it wasn't with intention, their intention was more just to like understand us and let us be whatever we wanted to be.
That's pretty amazing.
Cool. Yeah, I feel like that's like also rare of that. Like I feel like there was so much pressure on, especially people like in our age group, where it's like now we have so much pressure on ourselves to raise our kids a certain way. Yeah. So do you think that like you seeing that from your parents helped you change a little bit of like how you parent your kids, different from like your friends?
That's a really good question. I do think so. I think when I think about the way we were raised and how our parents just kind of followed our interests, it makes me like less, my fear would be like they don't like anything. And it's just so silly because I'm like, well, I want them to like have their thing. And like, if you just think about it, like all of us have our thing now. Like we all grew up and like my parents didn't force anything on us. Like we imposed so many things on ourselves. And I think it just makes us more passionate about what we do now and what we like. And it was more formed by like our own volition.
Yes, because I think going back to like the instrument thing, my parents made me, I played the cello.
Yeah.
And I also hated
Were you embarrassed?
I was embarrassed. And I had to be in an orchestra, which they practice on
I was
Sundays.
in orchestra too.
And I was like, I do not like this. And my parents were like, you got to see it through. You got to do it all the way until you graduate high school.
Yeah.
And I was mortified. I hated it. Like it was like pulling teeth. And I feel like, and they were always like, oh, you'll come back to like think that was a good thing. And I don't know if I ever did. Like I was always like, okay, I didn't have the inclination to do music.
Yeah.
But like they forced it. And I think that, I mean, my parents did a pretty good job. Like I had very loving parents, but they were very adamant that you had to do a sport and you had to do music.
Yep.
And I am not good at music.
Yeah.
So like
it just like wasn't your thing.
It wasn't. And so I think hearing you just say like you don't have to force it, and they will like things and they will follow through, but it's like the things that they want to follow through on.
And on one hand, like you want your kids to not be a quitter. Like I don't want my kid to be like, I don't like this, so I'm gonna quit. It's like
and going to different things.
So I think that's like where my boundary is. It's like you committed to being a part of this team this season, and like next year you don't have to play soccer. And I did that. Like I played soccer and I wanted to quit, and they were like, you can quit at the end of the season. I was like wearing a skirt, and like I was like, I'm not gonna like sweat.
And this is not interesting.
And they were like, obviously we're not gonna like make you do this or whatever, but they didn't let me just quit. And I think that's something that like kind of went into my life. I mean, they would probably again laugh because I'm kind of a quitter, but but like I think that's kind of where the boundary is for me now, where it's just like you committed to this for this amount of time, whether it's a season or an amount of lessons or something, and then I'll let you stop.
You were saying about like the generosity, and I think that's like such a cool thing that kids like learning to be generous and like the abundance mindset.
Yeah.
How do you think that you've done that with your kids? Because I think right now I'm in the tough sharing, like that's my toy, and I didn't care about this until my brother picked it up, and now I actually want it back.
That's so hard.
Do you have advice on that, like from where you've navigated this?
Yeah, and when I look back on my childhood, we did not fight over stuff. And my parents were well off. They did just, they were a regular middle class family. They weren't like, loaded where they could just buy us anything. And they did teach us to like care for our stuff. Yeah. But there was also a certain degree to which they were like, you have like a responsibility to each other. This is our family's stuff. Yeah. So like when we got things, there were things that were uniquely mine. Like they were like, Olivia got this special Barbie. This is Olivia's Barbie. But like I knew if my sister took that Barbie and cut its hair, that my parents would like hear me and they would say like, you can have another Barbie. Yep. So there wasn't this like scarcity to it. And they did teach us not to do that. Like they weren't like, don't just wreck your stuff because you'll get another one. But they were very much like, you will be rewarded for sharing in this home because this is our family and our stuff. Yeah. My son, I noticed, especially, and my daughter's younger, so I'm not like bagging on her. She's generous too, but he kind of has that abundance mindset. Like he got his tooth fairy money and he had $5 and he was like, what could I get Dad for his birthday? Because he just gets things. Like we're not like, hey, you got to wait until Christmas. Like he doesn't have scarcity around things. Like if he comes to us and he's like, I'm really interested in this, like we'll get him that thing. Yeah. Which might mean Christmas is smaller. Like he might not wake up to a tree full of like a million things because we can't even think of that many things. But like he getting things more regularly, I think it just makes him generous because he's not like, oh, like this is all I have. So like I want to get this one thing that I've been like, he kind of is like, he was like, what can I do with this, like in a generous way? I love that. And so I think that's kind of where I go with abundance, and people are like, you got to teach budget. They can't just get everything they want. And I think that it's different. Like it's a different like mindset. Yeah. And if it's done correctly, and it was in my family, I think it breeds generous people. No,
that's so cool. Because that's like something that I think so many people want for their kids. Yeah. And so I think they go the other way. And they
exactly
are like, no, you can only have one thing. When you go to the store, you get one toy. Yeah. And you can't just like buy the whole store. But I think that's been something I'm struggling with because I love like a generous friend and a generous like partner. I think that's like so important. And it feels like you have to really teach it from like the core of inside of you.
Yeah, and it's something that they witness like in the household. I think like my husband really does just the most amazing intentional job of when he gives kind of making it like ceremonious, and he does it so often, but he'll be like, like he'll include the kids on it and be like, I really wanted to get like mom this mug because it says this and she thinks that's funny. So like, let's surprise her with it in like a special way.
Yeah.
So they
fun.
see the act of like giving and receiving as a really special thing. So if we do like get him this like, we just got him a baseball bat, which is something like, some people might be like, oh, have your kids save up for it. Or like, it's something that just, you would just give your kid because they signed up for baseball.
Yeah.
Like we made it like really ceremonious. Like this is your first like big kid bat and like
fun.
had kind of like a talk around it. So like he cares for his things and his stuff is so special to him, but he also, gets some money and he's like, oh, I'd like love to like buy something for my sister.
So, that's so cute.
Yeah, and I think kind of that intentionality around how we give has kind of bred that in him.
That's so awesome.
I feel like I have to ask Olivia how old her kids are
Yeah.
because of how they behave. They came to my house last week, and I'm like, you kind of sound like you're an adult, but I know
He was
they're
asking her
not.
about her like art.
Yeah, he saw something, and then he was just like all about museum and Van Gogh and something else, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like how old you are? You're not that. They're not that far.
Yeah.
Advanced age-wise compared to our kids, but they're just so.
That's really sweet. Yeah, they're 6 and 4. So my son is 6 and my daughter is 4. So he's in kindergarten and she'll do pre-K next year.
Yeah, but they just made these comments. I don't know. There is something. Somebody's raising the
Seriously, a super mom.
I do think it's luck. It was luck with sleep with us because people kept being like, hey, we heard you have kids that sleep. Like, what's the secret? I was like, Jesus. Like, it's luck. It's fate. It's whatever you want to call it. So I don't take that much credit, honestly, for like my kids being pretty good kids. But I do think that we were at a baseball game recently and there was like someone we used to know who was talking to my son and she was like, do you know why your son is like really nice and good at talking to people? And I was like, or my husband was like, why? And she was like, because you talk to him a lot and you take him a lot of places and you like give him experiences so he feels like safe out in the world. Yeah. And I think like that's the only thing I can think of that kind of makes them like that. Awesome. Like we go to the art museum a lot and we bring their sketchbooks and stuff and like just give them the regular life experiences. I'm not like, oh, my kids are kind of bad ages, so I'm just going to hold them up inside until they're a better age. And that's, I mean, like sometimes it goes horrible, sometimes it goes fine or whatever, but I do think that that's kind of my little key.
That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah. How do you feel like a lot of this, like the generosity aspect especially, goes into your professional life? Like you're in talent acquisition.
Yeah.
And how do you think that you're able to kind of coach people maybe on the way into a company or find them and like coach them through a transition?
Yeah, I think that it's manifested itself different in my career. I think that there's a certain degree to which as a recruiter, you have to kind of engage in conversation really genuinely if you want to have the kind of outcome you want. There are recruiters who will just reach out to you. They're just factory reaching out to everyone. Like, you look like a good fit because I want to meet these metrics. But kind of that generosity is like a generosity of time where it's like, if you're going to give me your time and you're willing to like have this like somewhat vulnerable conversation with a stranger about your dreams and about your career, because careers are personal. Like that's a hugely personal thing. And just to treat it so flippantly to like shoot a message out because I want to hit a metric, I think just doesn't make you the best recruiter you can be. And I've had a very successful recruitment career, but I think it comes from kind of being like, for this 5 minutes, like I'm going to respect you and I'm going to like care about what you're saying. And it's kind of a generosity that comes out in like time and like generosity of just like giving, like allowing yourself to like see another person as a human for that amount of time that they give you.
And that time can be so important for them. Yeah. And like some people just like need to chew through something.
Yeah, exactly. And awesome. Wherever they go from it, whether it turns into something or not, like you just made that connection and that human connection is important.
Super cool.
You meet a lot of people on the daily basis.
Yeah.
And you have experience with people. I think people skills are not always something you are born with. I think it's something we grow through life and maybe our careers sometimes hinder or help us with that. What do you think is one or two or three qualities that you cannot teach?
I could talk about this all day. Like, this is something I think about all the time. I run the intern program at my current company. I ran the intern program at my previous company. So I'm really passionate about like early careers. And I think that there's just a certain confidence that a person goes into an interview with that ultimately gives them the job. And I don't want to say that's something that can't be taught, because I do think it's something that can be cultivated and something that can be worked on. But I think hiring isn't what people think it is. Like, it isn't that you see a person on a piece of paper, this person meets the qualifications, the best person gets the job. That should be the case in a perfect world. Hiring is an assessment of risk. It is so expensive to hire the wrong person in so many, it costs tens of thousands of dollars in training time, in unproductive work that they're doing, like, because it could take 6 months to realize someone isn't the right fit. You could hire someone for this business and, like, you know, be investing in them, and like it never pans out, and that was your time, and that's expensive. And hiring is essentially assessment of risk, and people will ultimately hire the person they feel poses the least risk to their organization. So when you go into an interview, going in with the confidence that, like, this is the job for me, this is what I believe that I bring to the table, and like convincing me that that's true as the interviewer is ultimately a skill set in itself of confidence. And it's not that it can't be taught, it's just you can tell when people have it, and it just puts them just so leagues ahead of other people. So that, and then just kind of like self-respect, and you can see that they're willing to kind of, like, it's so complicated to be able to go into an interview and be like, you know, I haven't really done that before, or I don't know this, and being able to do it in a way that says that I could also, it doesn't matter that I don't know it. Like, I've learned this before, so I'm able to, I believe that correlates to me being able to learn X. But some people just don't have the confidence to be able to represent themselves in that way. So kind of that confidence and self-respect really matters. And when I think of that with my kids, and like how I want to raise them to be able to be a person who can walk in a room and talk about themselves without feeling like they're uncomfortable with that. Because it's okay to talk about your strengths, and it's okay to talk about your weaknesses, and just kind of having that, you know, self-assurance.
And advocating for yourself.
Yes, advocating for yourself. That's my biggest thing, like, that I'm teaching my kids early, just being a recruiter. Like, I make them order for themselves at McDonald's. Like, I'll spot the money or whatever.
You're like, okay,
but like,
this one's on me.
I just think that we rob our kids opportunities to learn with our like loving support how to navigate the world. There are kids who will probably go to college and order at a restaurant for themselves for the first time, and like that did them a disservice. And like my kids love being like, I'm gonna circle what I want on the menu, and I'm gonna like talk about it. Like, they'll be like, my daughter knows to be like, is it white mac and cheese or orange mac and cheese? Because I prefer orange. You know, like, she like knows how to engage with the conversation, and like she's going to be better off for that. And just being able to advocate for themselves and not robbing them of those opportunities to do so when the outcome like might not be what they want. If they advocate for themselves, at least I'm there with them to kind of walk them through that. Whereas in college, or like whenever they're off on their own, they're not going to have that kind of like cushion of mom being there. Unless they want me there, I'll be there.
Sure, I will
I'm
move
there
into
if
the
you
door.
want me, yes.
But I do feel like it's like, stumbling through it with like support, and letting them kind of fail and have an awkward conversation, or somebody who doesn't know exactly what they're saying, and like that communication. I feel like with kids that, like, when they're younger, just letting them kind of figure it out and find the language themselves.
My son ordered at Dunkin' Donuts recently, and he was like, I think the woman was like mad at me because she was I just think she like maybe didn't know about kids, or like doesn't like think it was that cute to have a kid ordering or whatever. And I was like, no, you know, like, not everyone is really smiley, and it's not that's not personal. Like, you don't need to take that on as like you did something wrong. And I think we had a really like important conversation about that, about like how to interact with people, and that's just like a missed opportunity if I would have just been like, he wants the pink donut.
Exactly. No, I think
That's very
that
true.
When he's capable of saying it for himself and like proud to do so.
And he really is. Because on Wednesday I said, Brooks, would you like me to slice an apple for you, or do you want the whole thing? And he said, I would like it sliced in a Ziploc bag, please.
I love that.
And
The Ziploc bag is a sad representation of our life. It's like on the go. I'm like, throw it in a bag.
Get it as a Ziploc bag. That's exactly what I need.
It's funny because when you guys came over for a party, he wanted meatballs to go. And I had to give it to him. And I was like, oh, I love that you want my meatballs. Please take them all. You know.
Cute.
But that was really funny because he's just like having this adult conversation with another.
That's so funny.
So sweet. I am wondering, have you noticed any changes with how women approach work, especially since COVID?
I'm not kidding. This is like all I want to talk about every day. The COVID landscape changed everything for women in the most positive way possible, but it also is disservicing women in kind of a funny way that I feel like I need to get out there. Like I need to talk about it. And like there's never like a floor to talk about it. The one way it helped women in an incredible way is like more women are able to be a part of the workforce because the world isn't set up for two people to work because school starts at 9:00, but work starts at 8. But now, like if you're able to remote work and like the rise of remote and hybrid work, like I don't have to work until 9. So like I don't have to like be at my desk at 8 a.m. So I'm able to like help get my kids off to school. I don't have to commute for 3 hours a day and miss important things. So I think it's changed in allowing more two-income families and more women to be in the workforce. But it's also made it really interesting for how women negotiate their pay. And so my current company, just to caveat, is really, really intentional in like when we give an offer, it's truly what we're able to pay. Yeah. So I would say it's probably not the norm in society, but like we're like, this is what we have budgeted. This is what we've determined the market rate. And like what we're offering you is what we're able to pay. Yeah. And we base it off of what other people are paying. Previous companies I've worked for, there is almost always like a 10 to 20% wiggle room in negotiation of salary. So I'm going to tell you like, I am able to offer you $100,000. This is a sad reality, and I think there's a lot of reasons for this. Because we hear about the pay gap between men and women, and there's some very real systemic reasons for that. But also, like there's some immediate things we can do about it. So, I would say in my lifetime as a recruiter, the last 13 years, like, if I make 10 men an offer and I say like I am going to offer you $100,000 a year, I would say 8 of them will say, yeah, based on my skills and what I bring to the table, like I'm going to need more if you want me to bring my talent to your organization. And then I go back and I would say 6 out of those 8, like I'm able to give them more money at previous companies. At my current company, it's pretty transparent. And even now, like when I make offers to women, they don't negotiate because they hear, hey, this is flexible hybrid. And they're like, okay. Like I have to have this job so that I can do my life because like they didn't maybe know if they could be in the workforce because they have kids and things like that. So I'm like, all you have to do is ask. And for some reason, somewhere along the line, women determine like that flexibility is so important to them that when they hear it, they don't negotiate because they feel lucky to have it. But like the company is still lucky to have you. Yeah. Like if you have this skill set and you have these abilities and talents that you're going to give to the company should pay you for them. So you shouldn't take less money because you have a need or an accommodation. Like if you're able to do the job completely within the functions and guidelines of the working, like you should ask for more money. Yeah. And so I tell people that all the time. And I think, I don't know what it is. I don't know whether certain women in certain families were taught it's like inappropriate to talk about money or they're less comfortable with it. Or if they aren't taught to negotiate in the same way that maybe men have been. But for whatever reason, I would say maybe 3 out of 10 women negotiate with me and maybe 8 out of 10 men. That's a great observation. And I've been doing this a long time. Like I wish I would have from day one in my career kept a tally because it's just like, it breaks my heart. Like I'm like, I want you to get what you deserve. And I want for somebody to have told you to do that. Yeah.
And to at least have the conversation. Yeah. And my mom taught me that in my first job. She was like, go back, and if you can't negotiate the price,
negotiate something else. Yeah.
So like say like, okay, I'm okay with that rate, but like, can I have my review in 6 months instead of in 9 months or that year?
Or PTO, you can negotiate PTO. You can negotiate like, okay, you're saying I need to come into the office 3 days. That's wear and tear on my car and things like that. What if I only come in 1 day? Yeah. Like there are other things you can negotiate. You don't just have to say yes because that was the offer and you just feel so lucky to have it. They're lucky to have you. Yeah. And like you have leverage, even if you're a mom. Yeah. Like even if you have less experience, like whatever it is, leverage your experience and ask for more because nobody's going to take the offer away.
Oh, exactly. I was just going to say the worst thing, like as a employer hiring people, the worst I'm going to say is no, we can't do that. And like we're pretty transparent about like this is our offer and we put it on the job posting, so there's not like a ton of surprises. But like
exactly,
the worst that you can say is, at this point, no. And usually we'll come back and say like, maybe let's negotiate a little earlier or something like that. But like no one's ever going to be like, how dare you?
Yeah,
but I think women
or like,
are scared
we
of
no
that.
longer want to hire you because you asked for something. Would you want to work for a company like that? Like it would be
That's
very
good.
revealing.
And it's coming back to how you were talking about shortage versus abundant mindset.
Yes.
And like
I am
believing
worthy of
things
more.
about myself or a place I'm applying for. Or,
exactly.
so
And it
that's
also
just
comes
all-
back to that, like speaking up for yourself. Like my kids
like
will
what you're good
order
at.
their food and someday they're going to negotiate their pay.
Yeah, you better really. I was just gonna say the advice that you're gonna give your kids.
Yes.
They're gonna be set up well.
I love
hope
that.
so.
What would be an advice that you could give to somebody who really wants to stand out in this workforce environment today?
Oh gosh.
Is there something people could work on, or is there something you can improve about how you are applying for a job?
Oh gosh, I could talk about this for so long, and I'm going to try to keep it to two things because I could just truly talk about it forever. And I truly welcome like anyone who listens to this. You're welcome to give them my contact information because I talk about this and I like to. But one thing is that the current funnel, so let's say you're unemployed and you're applying for jobs, the current funnel is applying 70 times to get potentially 10 responses of any kind, whether it's no, yes, any type of response. So 70 applications to a 3 interview to 1 offer ratio. So that means if you haven't applied 70 times, there's a good likelihood you maybe won't hear from anyone yes or no. Because the job market has changed, that people are now able to fire off applications using AI. You can apply to 300 things, so that it's gotten less personal. And I hear people really personalize it, like, oh, like nobody's calling me back and like something must be wrong with my resume and stuff. And it's just that the market has changed and that we don't have enough recruiters or enough manpower to review the 1,000 applications that come in. So sometimes your application was just never seen. So really putting yourself out there to network and ask people who they know and putting your skills out there so that you can be the person who kind of slides in. But you have to do it about 70 times. And like I hear people say, I've applied for so many places, and they're personalizing it so much, and they're like, recruiters are terrible. And I'm like, is it recruiters or is it just a game of numbers now?
It is,
And it is, because everyone else is doing it with AI and the way it's changed the hiring landscape. So I think that's just like my big thing is like just keep applying and don't get discouraged and don't over personalize it because it's just not personal anymore. There's just too much volume for it to be personal.
Oh, for sure.
And I try to make it as personal as possible, where if I've personally talked to someone, I let them know they didn't get the job. Like those are the kinds of things. It should be a standard. It shouldn't be something that like we're just like, oh, it's too busy now. But as far as like the actual application process, if you've never spoken to someone, like they just don't owe you anything anymore. And you just have to keep going. It might not even be about you.
Well, and just as much as they're able to apply to so many jobs, like people are getting that. And like I remember like a couple of years ago, I think in the beginning, like I know the job market even in the last couple of years has shifted, but I remember just getting applications and being like, oh, I'll like respond to this person, and then like they had applied to so many jobs, they would like didn't even know what I was talking about.
Exactly.
So I think it's also on the same vein, like when you're applying to so many jobs, like make sure that you have like an interest, and you're like, if there's something that you really want, like make a connection at that company, figure out a way to like make yourself stand out, because like just as much as they're getting applications, it's so easy to just to like quick apply, and you're like, did you really want this job, or are you just like sending it in?
I was talking to our interns last year, and I've noticed this generation of students is less likely to like engage on LinkedIn. Like they're less likely to just kind of like shoot me a message than the older generations. And I kind of like, my boss prodded, and he was kind of like, what is this? And they just kind of feel, I think they just grew up with more like cybersecurity, which is really interesting. Like they grew up online, and they're like, I think you're gonna think I'm like weird or something if you reach out. And I think that's part of it.
Interesting.
They make this like assumption about what it means about them, like that kind of over personalization of it. And like when I see someone reach out to me, I at least give it a minute. Like I can't respond to everyone. Sometimes I'll get like 100 messages, but like sometimes if I see something super relevant, like a short, sweet, like, hey, I know you're friends with Anya, like I'm gonna stop and read the message. And like that's the kind of people who get slid to the top of the pile, and how you do stand out when there's 1,000 applicants.
So just good
just
effort.
take the risk, send the message, order the donut.
And the worst thing you're gonna do is like look a little weird. Who cares?
Yes,
like,
and it just doesn't matter. It's not that personal. And if somebody's thinking of it that way, like this person is weird, that's none of your business. You don't even need to know what they think, because it has nothing to do with you.
That's good. I like that. Not assuming. I have a story, and you You'll know once I start telling it that when we were trying to buy, I don't even think we were trying to buy a house. The house landed on our lap.
Oh, yes.
And Solange wasn't even walking, I don't think. And
No,
we
she
just needed, I think I was overwhelmed and I called you and you came and you were in charge. You were packing my boxes while I was like trying to hold Solange and help you. And I just remember like just the feeling you gave me of like, I don't know, just that strong friendship. And you were so driven and efficient. And I just want to find out, where is that skill set coming from? Is that something, do you think you've learned along the way? Is that something that life taught you?
That's really funny. I love that story, and that was so fun. I feel like that's like how we became friends too. We didn't know each other that well.
Yeah.
But I remember Anya was like, I'm moving like next week. And I was like, that's so great. Like, have you been doing all that packing? She's like, well, I haven't packed. Like, I need to get some boxes. I was like, she doesn't have boxes. And I was like, okay, she doesn't have boxes, like strike one. And then she's like, I was like, who's moving you guys? She's like, I think Noah. I was like, strike two. Oh my gosh, and she's like telling me this, and she's so chill. And I wish I was like you. Like, I wish I didn't have a plan, and I wish I didn't have my boxes color coded and stuff like that, because somehow it all gets done. Yeah. But I was just like, I want to help. And I think that in helping in general, like, this is kind of the abundance thing coming back to the way my parents raised me. Like, I think there's so much judgment that we put into whether or not we help someone in any situation. So whether we help a friend move, like, there's so much judgment and so much consideration that I think you need to consider whether, like, do I have the time? Do I have the resources? Do I have the energy? Like, those things need to be considered. But I just think, like, every time we, like, let's say you see a homeless person on the street, not comparing you, but like completely different situation. You see a homeless person on the street and you're like, there's like a couple dollars crumpled up in your cup holder. There's like judgment that goes into whether or not you would give that resource. So it's like, is this person worthy of it? Is this person really in need? Is this person just standing there and he works at a bank and he's doing great? And like, or like, there's just so much judgment. And like, for me, my parents just taught us, like, just start helping. And that's part of like the big family thing. Like, your sister needs help, like, help her. I'm not going to tell you to help your sister. And like, that's how I felt about you. Like, I was like, my sister needs help and I'm just going to help my sister. And like, I was willing to help you move, and I'm willing to give a homeless person $1 if it's crumpled up in my cup holder and I'm not using it. Like, it's just like, I don't need to determine whether their situation has anything to do with need. It's just like a need presented itself and I had a resource for you.
Have you seen that TV show Scandal?
Yeah.
Olivia Pope.
Yes.
Whenever she always says considered handled.
Oh, that's so funny.
That's how I felt when you were. And I think it didn't really hit me quite yet that we are actually moving.
Yeah.
Because
we didn't
even know.
Like, I'm good.
We didn't even know that these people are gonna accept our offer.
Yeah.
Because the house wasn't on the market yet, and it was like sort of slightly less than the house was worth.
Yeah.
So I think once I realized that this is the real deal, you just were.
I realized it before you did. I was like,
definitely.
You're moving, girl. You gotta get some boxes. But somehow it all gets done, and sometimes you don't need a hustler. I always felt like most girls are like a certain type of friend. Like, you know, like there's different friends. And back when there were villages, it would be like you had your person that you would need to help like nurse your baby. Yeah. And you would have the friend who would like help fix the leak in your roof. And that would probably not be the same person. Yeah. And for me, like, I am probably not the person anyone calls if they want to just vent with no solution. Like, nobody's calling me to just cry, or like nobody's like, and I used to kind of like feel left out by that a little bit, and I used to kind of like judge myself for that. Like, am I just like a different kind of girl? And our friend group jokes that like I'm like a dad friend. Like, do you need like your fence fixed or something? I'll come do that. Like, I'll come like help you with that. Like, do you need an attorney? Yeah. Like, but I'm like not like that fun of a friend, but like I do really appreciate that people see me as someone who will show up. And like, I think that that's like an important friend that everyone needs to have. And like, I don't mind being that friend for people. And I'm like glad that I can be, because I do think that's more natural to me than like, you're probably not going to call me and like cry that it hurts to be pregnant or whatever. Because I'm going to be like, well, did you try stretching? Like,
exactly. Yeah.
And like, it's just like not the place I hold in the world. And like, I've come to be okay with that. And I'm like humbled to hear that like, that's something that like stuck with you to have.
For sure.
Yeah. To have
We'll never forget.
And that you didn't think it was completely like a boundary issue
No,
to be like,
I
I am going to
don't
throw everything in
know.
this closet away.
No.
Have you done the, as you're like talking about all this stuff, have you done the, like, what your love language is?
Yeah.
Are you an acts of
Acts
service?
of service,
Yeah.
yeah.
I was going to say, I feel like you've got that. And then, like, I just think it's interesting to see, like, because sometimes it's like, that's how it's, someone told me it's not necessarily how you want to be loved, is
Yeah,
how you show love.
for
And I think
sure.
that, like, is when it clicked so much more.
Yeah.
Because I'm an acts of service person. No
Yeah.
one should call me to, like,
Oh, yeah, for
vent
sure.
or if you call me, I'm like, why? Like, what do
Be
you
like,
need?
do you need a
Text me.
ride? Like, what
Yeah,
are you asking
yeah,
me? Like,
but I think it's like, I love the, like, that you're just going to show up no matter what, and no questions asked, and you don't even have to talk about it.
yeah.
Like, we
No
don't have to talk
judgment,
about why,
like,
how we
there's
got
no
into the
analysis.
situation.
Exactly.
And I think your kids are going to see that as they get older. Like, you're the
Yeah.
person that they can call no matter what situation. You're
Yeah.
not going to judge.
Oh, I love correlating it to my kids. I didn't even think about
Yeah.
that, but I hope that that is how they see it. Yeah.
I think they will, for sure.
Yeah.
Your husband's a baseball coach.
Yeah. He is.
And so that means long days, seasons are long. Like, baseball's a long time.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of games.
So there are, and they're long. They're
Yeah.
really long games. Yeah.
How do you kind of navigate doing some of the, like, more solo parenting when he's in that busy season?
Yeah, people ask us this all the time,
Yeah.
and it's funny because we had like a sweet friend of ours whose like husband was like deployed, and I'm like,
yes.
I'm like, oh, my husband's gone so much like for baseball
Yes.
and stuff, and it like feels funny to even talk about as far as like
That's
being a
very
part of
true.
our life because like it's something he's passionate about and he
Yeah.
loves, and it's truly like we've determined kind of as a couple in our growth with this being like a long-term part of our life that it's my gift to him, and like
I
it
love
makes
that.
us better that we have this community of baseball people. Like our kids grow up with meeting so many people and like being a part of like the Bethel community where he coaches and his other coaching communities and stuff. So I see it as something that makes us better. I see it as like a gift I can give him because he's a very selfless person. I would say he parents more than I do. It's an unconventional dynamic where he does a lot of like the labor of parenting. Like my kids are like, can dad put me to bed? And again, like I'm not offended by that because I hold just a different place to them, and I think they see me extremely maternally. Like I'm a very soft mother, but like he takes on so much of the parenting tasks that like it's abrupt when the spring hits.
Yeah, I know.
It's like,
Now it's bedtime with
like
me.
how does she like her hair shampooed again or whatever?
funny.
But he like takes on those tasks, and he knows how
Yeah.
to do like my daughter's curly hair and stuff like that. So for me to say like your biggest passion in life outside of your family is something that needs to stop because we have kids, when I do think it enhances the life of our kids, like it has to just be the perspective that I take, and that he feels that I'm giving him kind of the gift of his ability to do his passion,
I love that.
and that we ultimately do think it makes our family better, and it expands us and it makes us more intentional about our time.
Yeah. It gives your kids a cool community to grow up in,
Yeah,
too.
for sure. My son calls them his bros,
Oh,
and he
cute.
cheers for them, and like they're such good role models for him and stuff. So it is really
awesome.
special. And I wanted more kids, and I was
Yeah.
only able to have 2. So just like kind of seeing them have like lots of different people in their life, the family looks a lot of different ways, and like this is a really like this is our family.
I love that.
That's
So
awesome.
cool.
Yeah.
You grew up in Minnetonka,
Yes.
which some people would say. You
Yeah, I know.
like-
I like when you say it at work, you have to be like Minnetonka.
but you are living here.
Yeah.
And in my experience, being not from here,
Yeah.
that's a rare choice because western suburbs are preferred,
Yeah.
maybe more.
Yeah.
I think over here, if you went to Mounds View and you might have ended up going to Bethel,
Yeah.
this community means something.
Yeah.
But I feel like usually people gravitate towards that part of town.
Yeah.
How does that feel and why did you choose that?
Yeah, that's a really good question, and I love that question. So I loved growing up in Minnetonka. I had a really, really good Minnetonka experience. Like, I actually have never found that people out west are stuck up in the way that people talk about. It's definitely less diverse. It's definitely, but not even as much anymore. Like, it's gotten really different, and I had great friends growing up, and I enjoyed the school system and everything. But I will say that here in Shoreview, I do feel a greater sense of community and a lot less competition and like a lot more like truly genuine bonds that people have with each other. Just where I'm like, gosh, there's just truly like no drama between these people who have known each other for 40 years, and it's so special and it's so unique. And I think what ultimately made us stay here, and I kind of picture my kids going to Bethel someday, and I'm like, we got to move. Like, they're never going to want to go to Bethel if we're like
in their
right
backyard.
here. Like, we're like not setting this up, but again, I don't want to set up their future. Like, they'll choose their path and stuff, and they might want that still, but I get pictures of my kids like all the time. Like, I'll have like a nanny with them at a park, and someone's like, your nanny's doing really good. She's not on her phone. Like, she's like really like running around. I'm like, I didn't ask for that, but thank you. But like, I feel like I just have like this big community of people who know and love my kids and love our family, and like they're just so safe. Like, I like someone was walking through my daughter's school the other day, and they're like, hey, like, did you pick your daughter's outfit today? Like, ha ha ha. I'm like, no, I didn't. But like, they're just being watched over by all these people who like really love us. And I didn't ever see that in Minnetonka, where I was just like, well, I had a good experience. Like, I don't feel like it was that layer deeper where like these like it feels like a true community and a true family here. And that's why ultimately like we haven't left and probably won't.
I love that. It does feel like a little bit more of like a small town.
Yeah, it's a big small town, and everyone knows of each other. And I just feel like there's no undertone of like, oh, you know that person. It's kind of just like everyone knows of each other and exists in this really positive way. And that's the kind of thing I'd like to be a part of.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's, awesome. That's refreshing to hear.
Yeah. But maybe I just have rosy glasses.
No, I think it's true. I'm not from here. I'm from out west too, not like further than Minnetonka, but I found the same thing. Like, it does feel like there's such a community, and like people will be like, oh, I know that you know this person in the locker room at Lifetime. People are like chatting, and there's no like underlying.
Yeah, there's no undertone.
Yeah,
like,
it's just like,
truly
okay, see you next time, and I love that.
Yes.
We've been asking everybody on the podcast this question. What's something that you've stopped apologizing for?
This is so funny because there are things I've stopped apologizing for. And I think I thought about this question when I saw Kristen answer it and everything. And I think that I've had so little to apologize for in my life. Like, I've been really fortunate where I've never felt the need to like apologize for who I am. And my parents did a great job of kind of fostering that and stuff. But like, I would say like, probably the one thing I can think of is just that boundaries and setting boundaries and communicating them is just telling your truth. And like, I used to feel like I can't tell this person that I don't want to go to this event because like I'm unable to, and like I'm just at capacity right now. But before I would, like before in the last couple of years, before my kids got older, I was like, I need to go or they're going to think I'm not a good friend. And I now feel like I have enough people who can hear my truth and I am willing to put it out there. And like, if I texted Anya and I was like, I am at capacity, I cannot come to your party tonight. She would say like, I believe you. And like, I'm okay with that. And like, I think surrounding myself with like safe people and people who truly, like I feel that connection with and they know my life enough has allowed me to stop apologizing for boundaries. But I know that's not the same for everything. But it did change for me when someone says, it's just telling the truth. It's just saying like, this is the way, this is what allows me to show up in the world. And like, this is like the distance I need, or this is like the circumstance I need. And I don't need to really apologize for that if you want me to be in your life.
I love that.
And I think, most people probably can testify to that just the same way I can, that you show up. So then if you can't come, there is really a reason why you can't.
Because I want to show up, but I will tell you if I can't. And you should know that when I am there, it's because I want to be. So that's kind of the other truth too, where it's like sometimes I know I'm like, someone just kind of feels like they needed to come and they needed to show face, but I don't do that. I don't show face. Like if I'm there, I want to be there.
Because you wanted to come. I love that. Is there something you wish Paul knew?
Like knew about me now?
Either about you or about life with you. I'll just give you a preface. Some people will go very and trot lightly and will go careful because they're like, oh my gosh, I don't know if my husband is going to like this answer. And some people were very funny and brave and they were like, you know what? I wish he knew this.
No, I would say, and he will laugh because I would say anything about myself to my husband. And I think he knew me so deeply before we even like started dating because we were friends first. And we started dating, and like I feel like we knew each other on a really deep level. Like I don't think there's a single thing I could tell him about myself or that he could learn about me that he didn't already know. Like he knows me so well, and he has chosen being such a more mild person than me. Like we just visited a house yesterday with a realtor, and I was like, what if we just buy it?
Yeah.
And he was like, what if we get an inspection? But he's like so quiet, and like our realtor friend's probably sitting there and being like, how did these two people meet in public and decide to like even speak?
Yeah.
Because it's like such
that.
different personalities, but he's like known me at the deepest level and at the worst level and everything, and he has just been totally like unbothered in like a hilarious way. Like he doesn't even flinch, and like he hasn't had like a lot of the same life experiences as me, and he doesn't see any of them as like intimidating or weird, and he's just like that's you, and he's fine with it. So I wish I could come up with something that would surprise him, or that like he doesn't know about me, but like he truly knows it all, and he like chooses very much like to think it's great, and he's really special.
I think it's fair to ask you how you guys met, because that's an unusual story that the world needs to know.
He okay, this is actually kind of funny. So I was on the Bethel study abroad trip following like the Apostle Paul's 3 journeys, because it was like a J term credit for one of our like humanities credits, and it was like following like the footsteps of Paul. And then when I got back that spring, I met Paul in one of my classes, and I was like and I'd been telling so many people about like the life and journey of Paul, and then like I would start like dating this Paul. And
you're like, I just really went all in.
Like the store that would
Paul changed my life.
Like other Paul, like alive Paul, like I'm talking about Paul. But I was actually his TA for a biology class, and I actually liked that like a lot of the people were kind of like, what's the answer? Like as like the peer level, and he was kind of like, can you explain this to me? And he like didn't kind of like presume that I would give him the answers and everything. He was like a respectful king, and we started dating after that. But it is really funny because I'm a couple years older.
That's sweet.
That's really cute.
And maybe he really wanted to like, he needed to know the answer because he wanted to spend more time with you.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Is he good at biology? Is he a science guy?
He had to do it for athletic coaching. I think it was like his lowest grade, and he was like so smart. He's like brilliant, but like it just didn't hit. I probably distracted him. Yeah.
That is funny.
That's so cute. Our last question that we've been asking everybody is a purchase that you've made under $100 that's like life changing, or that you're like, hey, this is my hill I'll die on.
Okay, I wish it was like
could be several things too.
Okay, I have a lot of things. I wish this was more glamorous to explain.
Yeah.
I bought a brush on Revolve. It's like a hairbrush. Okay. Its spikes are made of metal. Okay. So like you're looking at like a metal hairbrush, like Addams Family, and you're like, I can't rub this against my scalp. It like takes off all the like residue of any product and everything, and it has helped like my postpartum like hair growth come back in.
My
So
gosh.
it was a $36 purchase that like grew my hair back. So I'm like, all these people are buying all these products and everything, but maybe you just need to like stimulate your scalp.
I would love a link to
so
that.
I will link it.
Yes. Link in bio.
But
That's
it's like
what we
the
always
best thing ever. And it like it brushes through, because I have like really wavy hair when it's not blown dry and everything. It brushes through so nicely, and like everyone who sees it, they're like, what is that? And then they're like, give me the link.
Okay, we will link it.
I love
that. I love that. Okay.
It's the best.
So cool.
And if anybody tries it and like grows some nice hair, like I want to know about it.
I'm going through the postpartum stuff right now, and I'm like, oh God, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
And I didn't do the supplements, so.
Yeah, all you got to do is brush your hair with this thing.
Okay. I love
That's
it.
amazing.
That's awesome. And you've got good hair, so I trust you.
Any other items? I mean, this is pretty great.
It's kind of funny. It's kind of like unexpected, but I'm kind of like a minimalist a little bit. Like I'm not like a gadget person and stuff like that. So I can't really think of anything besides that brush. But I have started using glycolic acid toner for my face.
Okay.
And that has made my
good
skin really smooth. If I have good skin, you can thank Tilly Aesthetics.
Yeah.
But that glycolic acid
that.
is like even my skin tone, and that was just a $10 purchase, and it's kind of leveled up my skin game.
Okay. I love it.
Amazing. Okay, thank you for the tips.
Yeah.
Thank you for being with us.
Oh,
this
of
was
course.
so
Awesome.
enjoyable.
Of
Thank you for
course.
sharing the mothering tips and for just education on workforce and women.
Yes.
That was just so lovely.
Oh, thank you for listening.
And if people want to connect with you,
Yeah.
maybe for jobs that you were saying that you would give contact details, what's like the best way to get a hold of you if you're looking for
LinkedIn is really easy if someone just searched me on LinkedIn, but otherwise I can leave my contact information with you guys.
and we'll have her tagged and stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining our podcast. We'll see you next week.